So welcome everybody. This is Don't Write Code, Start Prompting. And yes, take it away.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Yasunaoi. Thank you for joining this session at Stanford WebCamp. So today I would like to share something completely new. I will present a new paradigm called prompt-oriented programming, which we call POP. Now, let me start by introducing myself. My name is Yas. I'm a chief architect of cloud, working at the Silicon Valley office of Japanese mobile operating company Docomo. My expertise is cloud, DevOps, and agile software development. I've been involved in Drupal community for more than 20 years. So this is today's agenda. So now let me introduce the AGS migration project, which provides the background for POP that we are working on. The project is about migrating our internal approval system, AGS, to a new platform. But instead of just replacing the system, our goal is to introduce innovation with generative AI. Specifically, we aim to improve efficiency, allowing flexible specification changes. Given this project background, here are the key insights we gained. During early development in the first quarter, we faced multimodal inputs like attachments, images, and forms. We naturally shifted to letting LLMs handle extraction and validation for the attachments. And we realized that rules don't have to be in if-else statement in a traditional programming logic. They can be expressed directly in prompts described by a natural language. So, what does this insight look like in practice? Let's compare the traditional code-centric programming versus YAML first as a proposal. On the left is the traditional if-else implementation. On the right, the same logic is declaratively expressed as a YAML. By the way, YAML is a simple human-readable text format, as you all know. The key difference is that workflow can be modified simply by editing YAML as an instance, no code changes or redeployment required. To make it more concrete, here is a real example of a PNL, purchase and lease approval request in AGS. We upload some files such as a screenshot or PDF of the items to purchase. The LLM extracts key fields such as the item name, amount, price, tax, and shipping cost. A YAML-defined validator checks the fields. The result is stored as JSON, followed by a human-in-the-loop confirmation before the approval flow continues. That's the concept. Now, let me show you a demo by screencast. For the first demo, let's make a purchase request. I'll type /chat in the Slack random channel. The bot presents two buttons, purchase request and business trip request. I'll click purchase request. Imagine I want to buy this MacBook Air. Here is the Amazon purchase page. I drag and drop the screenshot directly into Slack. The bot automatically parses the content. On the right, the screen, it shows the bot console. While the LLM is processing, you can see it working in the background. The bot called the POP runtime, which sends a YAML blueprint and input to the LLM and gets the response. And it shows me a button, show form. When I click show form, a Slack form is generated with all the required fields pre-filled automatically. no manual entry. Everything is extracted from the screenshot. That's it. For the second demo, let's make a business trip request. I actually spoke about POP at DrupalCon Nara. Here is the conference session page. And this is my session detail page. To request business trip approval, at first, I call the Slack bot and click business trip approval request button. And I have prepared two documents. Screenshot of my SFOKIX flight booking and a PDF form hotels.com for my hotel reservation, including check-in and check-out and the cost. I drag and drop both into Slack. And also, I put the DrupalCon Nara URL. Again, the bot automatically parses them. On the right of the screen, it shows the bot console too. While the LLM is processing, you can see it working in the background. The bot calls the POP runtime, which sends the YAML blueprint and input to the LLM and gets the response. And it shows the show form button. When I click it, a Slack form appears with all the details already filled in: hotel, flight, and trip information. The request is ready to submit instantly. And finally, I click submit the button. So, what you just saw was business logic is executed not through traditional programming code, but through a combination of a YAML-based framework and generative AI. That's why this is our brand new proposal: prompt-oriented programming, or POP. Let me show you the difference. This diagram shows the contrast in between code-centric if-else, which is a traditional web application, and YAML-first POP. In a traditional code-centric web application, form input goes through web UI, then if-else code, then HTML output. With YAML-first POP, input goes through chat UI, and then YAML blueprints through the LLM and self-validation, then to JSON for chat messages or HTML output. This illustrates how POP replaces static logic with blueprint-driven processing. At my company, I explain this as traditional web app versus POP. But here at the Stanford WebCamp, I do believe you all know Drupal. So let us move on to Drupal versus POP. This diagram shows Drupal and YAML-first POP. In Drupal, form input goes through web forms and views, which is rendered with YAML by Drupal. Then, Drupal core renders the YAML for the configuration, then to HTML or JSON output. With YAML-first POP, input goes through chat UI and then YAML blueprints through the LLM and self-validation, then to JSON for chat messages or HTML output. So again, that is Drupal on the top and POP on the bottom. Both start from user input and both end with structured output. But what happens in the middle is similar in shape, yet fundamentally different. Drupal processes everything through its web forms and views by YAML. PHP code, and Drupal core. POP takes a YAML blueprint instead, feeds it to generative AI, and lets the runtime handle validation, logic, and rendering. The key point is that Drupal relies on static configuration and code, while POP runs the logic directly from YAML. So when requirements change, we update YAML, not the code base. That's the shift we call YAML first. Let's take a closer look at how POP and the PBF, which stands for prompt-based framework pipeline work. So POP means shifting from code-centric to YAML first. Business logic is expressed as YAML blueprints, which is equivalent to a design document. LLM enables dynamic processing, validation, and localization. The prompt-based framework, which we call PBF, pipeline handles everything such as blueprint, LLM, self-evaluation, schema validation, and output. And the system is extensible through plugins following crystal clear design patterns. Behind the scenes, let me briefly show the architecture. I will not go into every detail here, but the key point is we have already thought through orchestration, validation, and extensibility. It is not just a concept, but also a framework level design. So now, what does it actually look like in YAML? Here is a YAML example as a blueprint. On the left, we have a template that defines a structure, and on the right, an actual example applied to our use case. The role section is especially important. When we explicitly tell the LLM, you are a validator, or you are an extractor, the model adopts that roles and produces outputs more consistently. In fact, while developing our framework, we realized that much of the business logic can be expressed through a set of basic roles such as extractor, classifier, summarizer, validator, verifier, converter, translator, and router, orchestrator. These roles serve as reusable building blocks in prompt-oriented programming. In the scenario section, the instructions are written in a style-like gherkin syntax using given, when, then. Although gherkin is normally used in BDD testing, here we use the same syntax for prompt design. Large language models understand this pattern because they were pre-trained on material that includes gherkin-style text. That pre-train is literally the P in ChatGPT. This is why the structure works so well and keeps the model's reasoning clear and consistent. Output schema and prompt example also guide the LLM towards consistent results. The point is, what used to be hard-coded logic is now declaratively written in YAML. Now, let me show you how we generate POP blueprints from existing documents. We built a YAML blueprint builder that reads attachments like the existing Microsoft Office files and or design document, sends them to the AI automator, and produces a clean YAML blueprint. Here is the demo. I start signing in just like a normal Drupal site. From the standard content menu, I create a new YAML item. I give it a title and upload a reference file. The file contains routing rules for an approval workflow. Once the file is uploaded, I saved it and let the system process the content. The AI automator reads the document and generates a clean YAML blueprint. It is now extracting the routing patterns, turn them into the structured summary automatically, and then produces the final POP blueprint. This blueprint becomes executable as it is. No manual coding is needed since the logic is expressed directly in YAML. This is the POP model in action inside of Drupal. Here is the output as the YAML blueprint. The LLM generates the prompt from the attachment and defines the output schema based on JSON format. So, as we could see the demo, Drupal has always been about configuration, defining how systems behave through YAML and plugins. POP takes that same idea and extends it to cognition, defining how AI should think. In other words, Drupal builds the foundation. POP just bring it into the AI era. Of course, there are still challenges for issues and risks to address. Technically, LLM hallucination and runtime overhead are concerns. From a governance perspective, audit and compliance frameworks are still underdeveloped, and security requirements such as RBAC and PII masking need reinforcement. Strategically, we must differentiate POP from similar frameworks like LangChain or Azure Prompt Flow. Our approach is to emphasize POP as reusable design patterns for enterprise systems. Despite these risks, our POC already shows clear benefits. From our proof of concept, we saw 4 main benefits. Workflow changes are reflected instantly by editing YAML. Another important benefit is that user interface can be auto-generated directly from YAML. For example, from an output schema in YAML, we can automatically build a Slack form as we could see the demonstration. This makes it easy to keep the UI and the workflow logic in sync without manual coding. Self-evaluation with human in the loop reduced output errors. Finally, compared with the legacy system, we reduced the overall DevOps effort. In the old environment, every rule change requires code edit, CI/CD, and redeployment. With POP, most of that work is replaced by simple YAML edits and version control. This significantly lowers the operational overhead. Looking ahead, so where are we heading next? Here is our future direction. POP will be fully adopted in the AGS migration. We extend functions as plugins and adopt RAG for dynamic blueprint selection in the future. This is not just a technical choice, but also a shift to a new paradigm of software development with generative AI as the foundation. So, with this roadmap in mind, let me conclude with our vision. AGS migration is not just a system refresh, but also the first step of POP adoption. The benefits of POP are first, the feedback to specification changes. Rules can be updated by simply editing YAML. Second, flexible handling of multiple diverse inputs and outputs, which allows the system to adapt across different use cases. And the third, expected efficiency gains in both development and operations compared with traditional code-centric systems. Ultimately, we aim to establish POP as reusable design patterns as a standard programming framework for future enterprise system and application development, turning a migration challenge into an innovation opportunity. So lastly, I have a question for you. Is this an innovation? That concludes my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for that. Are there any questions? Yeah, there's a comment there that's, wow, thanks. That was very informative. Thank you very much. Yes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.